The first sigh was one of pure relief. The door clicked shut, locking out the world, the blinking cursor on her unfinished report, the pile of unopened mail, the low hum of a lonely evening. Ilara had needed this. The bathroom was a sanctuary, thick with steam that smelled of lavender and eucalyptus. She had lit a single candle, its flame dancing and distorting in the condensation on the mirror. The only sounds were the drip of the tap and the soft lap of water as she sank into the tub, the heat seeping into her bones, melting the tension from her shoulders. She let her head rest against the porcelain, eyes closed, breathing deeply. This was peace. This was silence. A soft click made her eyelids flutter open. It was the bathroom door. It was still closed. She must have imagined it. The old house settled all the time. She sank back down, but the spell was slightly broken. Her ears, now attuned to the silence, searched for it again. There was only the drip. Drip. A pause. Drip. Then, a new sound. A faint, wet drag against the tiled floor. Like a damp cloth being pulled slowly. Ilara froze, her breath catching in her throat. She was alone. She knew she was alone. She held perfectly still, listening so hard her ears rang. Silence. You're imagining things, she told herself. It's the steam, the fatigue. She forced her body to relax, reaching for her glass of wine on the stool beside the tub. Her hand trembled slightly. As she brought the glass to her lips, her eyes scanned the room through the hazy veil of steam. The candle flickered violently, as if in a draft, though the air was perfectly still. And in that sudden, frantic dance of light and shadow, she saw it. A shape, darker than the other shadows, hunched in the far corner of the bathroom, behind the toilet. It was a formless blot at first, but as her eyes refused to look away, they parsed the details her mind screamed to reject. It was crouched, limbs folded at impossible angles, skin slick and pale like something left in water too long. It had no discernible face, just a smooth, featureless dome where a head should be. But it had eyes. Two pits of absolute blackness, fixed directly on her. A choked gasp escaped Ilara's lips. The wineglass slipped from her numb fingers, shattering on the tiles. The sound was like a gunshot in the small room. She blinked, and the shape was gone. The corner was empty. Just shadow and steam. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat of panic. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. She was hyperventilating, the steam now feeling suffocating, like a hot cloth pressed over her mouth. She had to get out. Now. She moved to rise, her wet hands slipping on the edge of the tub. As she pushed herself up, her eyes swept the room again, desperately seeking the empty corner for reassurance. And she saw it. The steam had condensed on the mirror directly across from her. Obscured by the fog, words were slowly forming, beating into existence as if an invisible finger was tracing them on the glass. Not alone. A cold far deeper than the bathwater could ever be iced through her veins. Movement flickered in the mirror's reflection. It was behind her. Ilara's body went rigid. She couldn't scream. She couldn't breathe. Slowly, mechanically, she began to turn her head, a marionette moving against its will. Over her bare, wet shoulder, she saw it rising from the water behind her in the tub. The same slick, pale skin emerged silently from the lavender-scented depths she had just been relaxing in. Water streamed from its formless head as it rose, its inky black eyes now level with hers. It had been in the water with her the whole time. Its face was inches from hers. She could feel a cold radiance washing over her skin, smell a stale, muddy dampness that choked out the lavender. The thing tilted its head. A silent, terrible gesture of intimacy. The last thing Ilara saw before the scream was finally torn from her throat was her own terrified reflection, trapped in the endless black stare of the thing that had been waiting in the steam.